various methods which we have discussed today morning, few of them. Uh, we have different raw material which are used in additive manufacturing. It may be in powder shape, it may be in filament shape, it may be sheet and liquid. Today morning I have told you the three: powder, liquid and solid. But solid can be again two types. It may be a wire type or rod type filament or sheet. So that's why we can see you can see here four categories, because solid is divided into two: wire and sheet. And this, if you see the uh, other materials, these are the state of material, and these are the material which we are used in this polymer or maybe metal, ceramic, composite, functional, maybe electronic or the shape memory type, or biologic or food, etc. So these are some methods which are additive manufacturing methods which are used, like binder jetting, we call it BJT, directed energy deposition, DED, material extrusion, MEX, material jetting, MJT, powder bed fusion, PBF, sheet lamination, SHL, wet polymerization, VPP. These are advanced methods which are derived from the same method which we have seen just today morning. These are fused deposition modeling, selective laser melting, selective laser sintering. So these are the further derivation, or these new methods are derived from these old methods which are mentioned here, like cold spray, pick and place, electron beam melting, stereolithography, digital light processing, polystrata and others. So these are the earlier methods, original methods, and these are advanced methods we can call, which are derived from these methods or original methods. So this is the list which we are going to discuss now: powder bed fusion, PBF, directed energy deposition, DED, binder jetting, BJ, sheet lamination, SL, material extrusion, ME, material jetting, and wet photopolymerization. Friends, you can see here, this is developed by GE, advanced turboprop engine. And this engine is not fully 3D printed, but 1/3 of components of this engine, this is aircraft engine, and 1/3 of engine parts are 3D printed, produced by 3D printing. So this is the GV aviation engine which is used for in aircraft, and this is developed. So development started in 2015 and certification expected 2020. This was there complete simplified. This engine has used the simplified supply chain logistics, better assembly methods, and maintenance is also easier. Uh, More than 100 pounds reduced weight than earlier engine. This you can see 100 pounds means 1 pound means 453 grams. So you can say around 45 kg of the weight is reduced. Improved fuel burn. Fuel burning is better 20% and power is 10% more. These are the benefits of this new engine, which is called advanced turboprop engine, and which developed through by GE, and most of the processes are 3D printed. Not all, we can't use 3D printing for all the components, but you can say some parts are 3D printed. Metal additive manufacturing, if we see here, metallic means we can first melt it, we bring into melted state powder material, and you can see this is a metal additive manufacturing process. So types of material is metallic. State of fusion, it may be melted state or solid plus melting, both. Material feedstock, maybe filament shape or wire or powder or sheet. Material distribution, deposition nozzle. Generally nozzles are used which are having the melted material in paste form or powder bed, it can be used, or sheet stack can be used. Basic additive manufacturing principle for here in this we are using the stellitic deposition and selective fusion of the powder. Powder is there, so we want to fuse them, powder atoms, and fusion of stacked sheets. So now source of fusion, electron beam can be used here, laser, electron beam, laser both in the case of powder, and untreated here in this sheet. No need of this laser sheet. Process category, this is direct energy deposition, DED, or powdered wet fusion. So we can have, you can see how the different advanced methods are derived or extracted from the original method. So if we are using this direct energy deposition, we call it direct metal deposition or DMD. And if we use electron beam, so electron beam melting, this is EBM, and selective laser sintering if we are using laser for the metallic powder sheet. So this is a typical different additive manufacturing, advanced additive manufacturing processes which are based on metal. Now we see details of powder bed fusion. Here we see some details of this method. It using a high energy power source to selectively melt or sinter a metallic powder bed. So metallic powder is spread on the bed, and we use a high energy power source to melt it, and then we can we can call it either selective laser melting. You can see here, if you are using electron beam, then we can call it electron beam melting. So this is a schematic diagram of these two methods, selective laser melting and electron beam melting. So here we are using laser for melting purpose or curing purpose. Here we are using electron beam for melting and other purposes. So this is the different schematic arrangements. You can see powdered bed is here, and rotating blade, these blades are rotating, powder tank, and we can supply powder from here. And this is a typical schematic diagram of these two methods which are derived from powder bed fusion. And we can say these are subcategories of these two, selective laser melting and electron beam melting. Now these two methods which we have seen, laser beam melting and electron beam melting, process parameters which are important, which are controlled, which are taken care are power of laser source. We have to take care of power because high source of power is required. Scanning speed, hatch distance, laser tracks, thickness of powdered layer. कितना powder एक साथ डालना है, that is thickness. It is similar to the you can say depth of cut in case of normal machining. Electron beam melting, we need electron beam power, current, high current, diameter of focus means focus of the electron in what area, how much area, that is important. Powder preheat temperature and layer thickness. So these are some parameters which are important to monitor or control the process. Porosity in PVF parts. Yes, see, this is observed that some small porosity is there in the powdered or this PBF machining method. These are not very big, but you know this pore has size of 25 micron. Here 50 microns. So this is the size, but still it is not good because this pores may cause that gas may be trapped in this method, and so we want to avoid that. So these are some issues which are available if we don't use proper power source and proper sintering method. If we talk about microstructures in this PBF method, so these two are important for this microstructure. One is the scan speed and as is the laser power source. So factors affecting grain microstructure, these are factors which are important: temperature gradient and solidification interface velocity. So these are this method PBF parameters. This is a typical component which is produced through powder bed fusion method, and this is selective laser sintering or melting, SLS or SLM. We have used it for this. This is powder which is sintered and prepared this process. Here the layer thickness is 15 to 500 microns. Powder particle size is 50 to 100 microns. Laser power is 10 to 100 second of watt. So this is the detail of one product which is prepared by the Stratasys method. If we see details of further products which are manufactured through this two methods, that is one of the EBM method and SLM method. To selective laser melting, you can see the better diagram. You can see here that laser source is here. Laser rays are coming on this, falling on this scanning mirror, then scanned and focused to the bed, and then roller is passed over it, and the powder is supplied from this side, and this compression pressure is applied. This powder feed piston is moving up, and it is compacting it, and we get the sintering method, and we can build the different shapes of the product as the required. These are the components which are produced, nylon duct, and this is Airbus component which is used in aircraft, titanium bracket. This is another component which is used in the aircraft component, and TIAL turbine blades. And so this, these methods, additive manufacturing methods, are used to produce aircraft components. And here in this method, we have seen the parameters important are laser power, scanning speed, layer orientation, and hatch distance. These are the important parameters which are to be controlled. Now, if we see effect of scanning velocity, because we have seen scan velocity or scan speed is one of the important parameters which is important in this process. So now we are seeing this graph which is telling the density and the scanning velocity chart for the different powers source, 300 watt, 500 watt, 700 watt, and 1000 watt source. We can see the density is increasing and decreasing as per this graph. Now here this is the other parameters like laser power and scanning velocity. So if we use 500 watt laser power with this scanning speed, the density is 99.8%. So better results. There is no pores, almost negligible. Correct? But if we use 700 watt and this speed, further it is better. If we having the high power source, you can see the surface is more better, 99.8% density is possible. But this similarly, if we increase scanning speed, but power is same 500, you can see more pores, more defect. You can see small pores are increased. Earlier you can see only 2, but now here we have more number of pores. And so scanning speed should not be very high because we should give sufficient time for scanning the powder. Here you can see if we increase further, the pore size, pore quantity is increased. Okay, so this is the typical, you can say, relationship between these two. And if you use the high power, then definitely it is better, but the best result is obtained with the 900 watt and 1300 mm per second is the scanning velocity. This graph is giving the detail of scan line spacing of the scanning line and density. So spacing here maybe 0.515 mm, 0.2 mm, 0.25 mm, and this, and density depend on scanning spacing. Power source is, this is for 900 watt, which is the best one. If you see the last one, 900 watt gives the best result. So we are using 900 watt power laser power, and the scanning velocity is 1700 mm per second, and the hatching distance spacing 50 micron left. This is as per that. So these are the different, you can say, relation between these two parameters, that is density and scan line spacing. If we see hardness variations with scanning velocity and scale in scan line spacing. So this is a hardness versus scanning velocity, and this is hardness versus scan line spacing. So spacing is increasing gradually, and these are the two laser power used, 500 watt and 900 watt, same in these two. And here we can see hardness is somewhat increasing with the scanning velocity further. So this is what we have used the first method, that is PBF, and it has two variations of that. One is SLM and LBM and EBM. Now we can come to the different other advancement in this method, and that is multi-material PBF. A critical requirement in multiple material selective laser melting is to deposit at least two discrete power materials within one layer. See, this is the like a composite shape, multiple material we are using. So 316L, this is the material, stainless steel, 718 nickel alloy and Cu10 SN copper alloy. These are three materials. Combining powder bed spreading, point by point multiple nozzles, ultrasonic dry powder delivery, and point by point single layer powder removal to realize multiple material fusion within the same layer and across different layers. So this is further advancement in PBF method. Here you can see the schematic diagram, which is showing the details of this method. Scanner is visible here. Laser ND-YAG fiber laser is used, and powder dispenser are here. Vacuum sucker is there, and we can use here on the table, and we can produce this method. So multi-material PBF specimen is shown here in this figure. You can see, and these are the different arrangements in this. Now we can come to another method, that is direct energy deposition, DED. This is the one of the next advanced additive manufacturing method. It uses injected metal powder flow. Why we call it directed energy deposition? Because we are injecting material from nozzles or metal wire as feedstock. You can see here, these are the two nozzles, both side powder delivery nozzle, and center we have the laser beam which is focused on this platform, and here we have the welded track and substrate is there. So both side the delivery of the powder is there, and melted it is here on the table, and we get the laser curing also here. This is the powder fed or laser DED process, because we are using laser. But if you use electron beam instead of laser, then we can call electron beam DED process. So instead of laser, we are using electron beam, and material is fed through here, and this is an object we get after curing. So it using the metal powder flow or metal wire. We can use either wire. You can see the metal is in wire shape in this, and here it is in powder shape as feedstock, along with energy source, maybe laser or electron beam, to melt and deposit the material on top of the substrate. So these are the two sub methods. Here metal wire as feedstock and laser engineered net shaping. This is the LENS lens. Now, which material we can use in DED, directed energy deposition? We can use titanium alloys, stainless steel, tool steel, aluminum alloys, refractory metals, super alloys, nickel or copper. Yes, what are the process parameters which are important in this DED, directed energy deposition method? So suppose if it is a laser method, laser DED, so we give the laser power source, and that reflect on the mirror, strike on the mirror and reflect it on the substrate through this method where lens is there, and we can have the substrate and job getting ready on the table. Now, in this method, now effect of layer thickness. You can see on y-axis, we have the x-axis, we have the layer thickness and thickness error. Okay, so layer thickness may be in mm. We start from this minimum, then increasing. Here we have the from negative thickness error to the positive, this one. Next is effect of powder mass flow rate on thickness error. So here we can have the powder mass flow rate, that is gram per minute, and thickness error in mm. So we can plot the graph, and this is the result from the experiment done on this DED. Influence of powder mass flow rate on porosity. Now the same method, but now parameters are powder mass flow rate in gram per minute and porosity maybe in percentage from 0% to 12% is the limit we have taken, and we get the different porosity percentage. These are some components which can be prepared with this method. So first, in this top left, we can use the laser energy used to use metal powder. These are the laser beam gun, and lasers are deposited here on the surface. So we have either 5 axes of freedom, these, and repair of wound shaft steel. Yeah, this is a method which is used to repairing the shaft, wound shaft seal, shaft seal. Here we are using the laser energy, but if you use the wire arc additive manufacturing, then we can use welding, and that is TIG welding method. So with this near net shape, Boeing component are visible here, and if we talk compare these two methods, one is the PBF and DED, direct energy deposition. You can see comparisons are there for small titanium nozzle. Material is same, Ti, titanium, aluminum and vanadium alloy, and this is the diameter. Outside diameter is 20 mm here. Here diameter is 9 mm and the top at 15 mm. So with DED, the total build time for this component is 20 minutes. With PBF, total build time is 4 hours. See the difference. 12 times. And the layer size is 30 microns. Laser scanning is 20 minutes, the time laser scanning time, and recoating 3.67 hours. Now we can move to the next method, that is rapid plasma deposition. See here, the major difference is the power source, the method. Like instead of electron beam or laser, we are using plasma arc. So you can see the plasma torch is there, and plasma are developed through torch. This is a torch, complete torch is visible here, RPD torch, and argon plasmas are come into contact. Argon gas is inside passing, so we can use this mix here and get the molten tool. So plasma arc plus wire, these are two things which are required. Closed loop process control is possible. Shielding boxes there with shield complete process. Working volume is 1000 mm into 500 mm into 300 mm. So 1000 mm means it is around 1 meter and half meter and 30 centimeter. This is the area or working volume, work envelope, which can be used for this. And this is the process is patented by the researcher, and we call it Norsk titanium, rapid plasma deposition by the Norsk titanium. This is the trademark of the company which has taken the patent. Now, closed loop DED. Closed loop DED is a synthesis of multiple technologies, including lasers, sensors, a computer, numerical controlled, work holding stage, CAD/CAM, software, and cladding metallurgy. These are the typical things which are required in this. You can see here in the diagram, this is a closed loop DED. We can have CO2 laser beam, which is passing here, final focus optics, and other components you can see on the table. Work holding fixtures are used and feedback sensors are also there. So this is a closed loop DED method. Why we call closed loop? Because we can have the feedback controlled. Here integrated feedback system is there, geometry control, temperature control, and microstructure control. So these are 4 parameters are controlled, and we can have the, this is a closed loop DED. Now we can come to the next method, binder jetting. Binder jetting is an extension of normal 2D printing to 3D printing. Means 2D printing, simple normal method, and we can add the Z axis and we can get the 3D. A binder is selectively deposited onto the powder bed, bonding these areas together to form a solid part, one layer at a time. This is how this method works, that the binder is deposited in the powder bed, bonding material, and bonding occurs. This is very important. Bonding occurs at room temperature only. Metal binder jetting system typically have larger build volume than SLM methods. So metal binder jetting, we have, this is the work envelope, 800 and 500, 400. Binder jetting requires no support structures. Generally, support structures are required in FDM and other methods. But here we require no support structure, and beauty of this method is it can perform on the room temperature, and the volume of the working volume, work envelope, is larger than other method. Here you can see a schematic of binder jetting process. Binder supply from the source. Here, this is the inkjet print head, which do its work, and powder bed, build part, and piston, which is using for the compression. So we can see this is the typical schematic diagram. This is a component, star shape, and binder supply, and the speed is 40. Now, what are the process of binder jetting or steps? So what we do, first we have a recoating blade, spread a thin layer of powder over the build platform. So what we do on the platform, we deposit a thin layer with a recoating blade. Then a carriage with inkjet nozzles. That you can see the diagram. Inkjet nozzles are inkjet nozzles passes over the bed, selectively depositing droplets of a binding agent. When the layer is complete, after depositing layer, build platform moves downward and the blade recoats the surface. So generally, always in all methods, similar method, the platform comes down so that we can increase the thickness. The process then repeat until the whole part is complete. After printing, the part is encapsulated in the powder and it is left to cure and grain strength. This way we can complete this binder jetting operation, or after printing the part is encapsulated in powder and left to cure and gain strength. Then the part is removed from the powder bin and the unbound excess powder is cleaned via pressurizing. Now what are the process parameters in this method, binder jetting? One is the drying time, printing saturation, powder correction, layer thickness, binder burnout and sintering, sintering additives, infiltration of nanoparticles. So nanoparticles are also used to increase the process properties or properties of the job. Post-processing. After completing the binder jetting, some post-processing is required in this binder jetting. The main drawback of metal binder jetting parts are their mechanical properties, which are not suitable for high-end application. So these are the various methods. Printed parts basically consist of metal particles bound together with a polymer adhesive, and we can see infiltration and sintering. These are the two processes which are used. Now infiltration means after printing, the part is placed in a furnace where the binder is burned out, leaving voids. At this point, the part is approximately 60% porous because binder is melted and left the job, and so porosity is there. Bronze is then used to inflate the voids. How bronze is supplied? Via capillary action and resulting in parts with low porosity and good strength. So bronze is inserted in the infiltrate in the voids which are created due to binder leaving. Sintering is another way of binder jetting. After printing is complete, the parts are placed in a high temperature furnace. And binder is burned out. So here the method is little different, but objective is same. That binder we want to remove from the job. And the remaining metal particles are sintered, which bonded together, resulting in parts with very low porosity. So this is the sintering method is better because it reduces the voids, holes, porous, limited. Infiltration and sintering, if you compare, sintering is the better way, which is. Now advancements in binder jetting. Further research is going on. People are working and doing research on these methods which are already advanced, but some developments are there in this method. Binder jetting additive manufacturing with a particle-free metal ink as a binder precursor. Using metal nanoparticles, ink as a binder to replace polymer adhesives. Metal organic decomposition, MOD, is used. MOD ink contains an organometallic compound formed by introducing ligands. So this is the how different research is going on. Advancements are going on in binder jetting, and we are trying nanoparticles, ink, and we can insert that. Here you can see the different binding materials. which are used like high-speed sintering. This is an inkjet printer. Infra bad absorbing ink are used. So we can say sintered polymer looks like that. High-speed sintering. And here have the different metal, multi-jet fusion and metal process. Now we come to jet printing. Here, this is another advanced method. UV curable polymers are used, and they prepare these products, shoes, and this. So many colors you can see, 3,60,000 colors. Okay, we just devise a new color by adding different one. These are the different colors. Okay, and nanoparticle jetting, we can use the metal and ceramic components, and we get the different. Mod ink is a particle free during printing, reducing the risk of clogging inkjet. Why do modding? Ink क्यों उसमें हम insert करते हैं? Because reducing the risk of clogging inkjet printhead. इससे clogging नहीं होगा. Stop. Preventing ink sedimentation and increasing ink its shelf life. Mod से क्या होगा? Ink shelf life will increase because ink is costlier. Red reduces surface oxidation in metal. Reduce surface oxidation in metal nanoparticles during storage. So if you use narrow, the oxidation and other issues are reduced. Now we can see the sheet type. When sheet is used, and we can call it laminated object manufacturing. Use metallic sheets as feedstock in this method. We use localized energy source to bond a stack of precision cut metal sheet to form a 3D object. Most common technique is ultrasonic additive manufacturing, UAM. Different products. Which are prepared. These are some components. And produced with this method, sheet lamination. Now we can come next, ultrasonic additive manufacturing, which works on the sound ultrasonic principle, low temperature additive manufacturing or 3D printing technique for metals, because we are using ultrasonic waves. Works by scrubbing metal foils together with ultrasonic vibrations under pressure in a continuous fashion. No melting occurs. This is specific thing with this method, that no melting is there. Metals are joined in the solid state via disruption of surface oxide films between the metals. So how this is work? UAM, ultrasonic additive manufacturing. This is the setup of schematic setup for ultrasonic additive manufacturing. We can use the this is how the sonotrode is moving over the surface, and ultrasonic vibrations are used to produce the additive manufacturing job. Process parameters which are important in UAM is wire speed, weld speed, sonotrode oscillation amplitude, weld pressure, anvil temperature, and sonotrode topology. These are the different parameters which are important in UAM. Effect of sonotone topology on roughness. Sonotone कैसा होना चाहिए इसकी topology? And this you can see the difference. Sonotone topology, smoothie topology, and rough topology. You can see the clear difference on the surface. What are the advancements in this method? Further, dissimilar material bonding is possible. Object embedment. So this is it. We can try this method for dissimilar material bonding, and object may be embedded in between. Same job. Now, what is dissimilar material bonding? Here we try to create functionally graded metal laminates. Structures avoid the brittle intermetallics that would form with traditional thermal bonding processes and avoid the melt point mismatch that tenders many metal combinations by varying the ratio of one metal to another through thickness variation. Material properties can be controlled, like to weld titanium to aluminum. Titanium is a heat and wear resistant layer on the outer edges of aluminum component, thus prolonging the life of the base aluminum component. So this is how we can use dissimilar metal bonding. Ultrasonic additive manufacturing in manufactured functional graded laminate that is created through alternate layering of CU. So these are the figures you can see. One is now the different combinations of material in this. You can see which are highlighted, like material pair proven for USW aluminum alloys, which can use aluminum, copper with gold and all these. Beryllium alloys, we can use CU alloys, germanium, and these are the various combinations which are tried for the advanced UM. Now object embedment in UM. See, UM method is diagram is like this. Ultrasonic oscillation is provided with this rotating cylinder, sonotrode, which passing over the base plate, and objects may be embedded. Means we can have 2-3 layers, and that is embedded one over other. Acoustoplastic effect. This is there, which takes place, and due to this, the object are embedded in between. And so this is the schematic of ultrasonic additive manufacturing process for object embedment. Means we can embed a different object in the with the material. Now we can come to materials. We have seen the different processes. Now materials which we can use, novel materials like multi-material objects. You can see this is titanium, aluminum, and vanadium to V gradient alloy. Alloy B, alloy C, and these are tried by this company, and we can say foam alloy, laser metal deposition, powder nozzle. If we talk about design, we can produce any complex shapes with this additive manufacturing, and we can call it design for additive manufacturing. You know, design for manufacturing, you might have heard, that is one of the important tech method. But now we talk design for additive manufacturing, not manufacturing, additive manufacturing. So parametric and generative design are possible. Topology optimization can be done. Lattice structures and biomimicry and lattice structure biomimicry, bionic design. So topology can be optimized, and this is one of the method which we call topology and design for additive manufacturing. Now we can see additive manufacturing builds simulation software. Yes, multi-scale modeling of additive manufacturing process. It is possible with the different advancements. Model distortions and residual stresses for process. These we want to minimize. Suggest distortion compensation. Model optimal support structures. Minimize risk of printer damage, and predict impact of post-processing on this. Fabrication process, if we talk, 3D printing services. So 3D systems means first upload your model, choose your material process and finish, and receive prototype in as little as for 24 hours. So these are the various companies which are trying using these advanced 3D printing services. Now, process and post processes. See, process means main process. Post processing means after completion of the job, what we do. So first I talk this. Post processing means we want to remove the support material. We want to improve the surface finish. We want to reduce the defects, and we want to use non-destructive and destructive testing for various purposes. So this post-processing cost is high, up to 70% of the part cost. So printing process, post-processing is process parameters means post-process monitoring and feedback, data analytics, and AI supported process, artificial intelligence supported process. So these are the various advancement in these processes. Now a few more advanced things. What are advances? You can see small scale and large scale additive manufacturing. This may be large scale. And here you can see this is a contour crafting, and this is 2-photon polymerization. So photonic materials, metamaterials, and we can use the rapid response construction and extraterrestrial construction. So this is a further advancement in this way. Now cooperative mobile print robots are used also for 3D printing purposes. Structures arbitrary in size. So these are the figure is showing that 2 robots are used on this structure and producing print. This is sourced from NTU Singapore. These are the various components. Friends, if we talk talk about future further advances in 3D printed organ and tissue in biology or biological sciences, then we can having a MRI data of human heart, and that MRI data can be 3D bioprint collagen and human heart cells. Even we can produce a heart from the data of the MRI data of the heart, human heart. Applications, if you see digital dentistry, see dentists are using the for the teeth. So thermoforming, clear aligner and dental molding, dental shape of the dental. But that is shape, you can see U shape generally. So medical grade polymer is thermoformed around 3D printed mold. These are the real advancements, real developments which are appropriate. Hearing aids, company Camisha, computer-aided manufacturing of individual shells for hearing aids. So we have the 3D printed hearing aids, model and SLA printing. These are some more applications in surgical or medical. So software, patient specific pediatric heart model, spinal wedge implants, lattice skull implants, skull, human brain में, skull में, personalized medicine, and orthopedic cast for the joint. So these are the medical advancements in medical science in additive manufacturing. Jewelry. Wax 3D SLA printing and lost wax casting. Lost wax casting process start from the wax model. You can keep into the ceramic mold, burn out, metal is poured, and we get the metal part. This is there's different steps. Wax model we create, ceramic mold बनाते हैं उससे models, burn out, metal is poured, finally we get the metal part. So this is the in jewelry and small object application of this beautiful additive manufacturing. If you see the rocket, aerospace, see aerospace, the major important thing is the weight. We want to reduce the weight of the satellite or the rocket. So we can use monolithic thrust chamber with internal cooling structure of the engine, and we can combine the various things, and that reduces the weight of engine or the aircraft. Heat exchanger. See, this is a Conflex type of which is Conflex is 22% lighter, 55 per mm smaller than traditionally manufactured parts. See, कितना saving है हमारी. And if we talk about heat exchanger concept, here you can see the lung-inspired heat exchanger and pure copper heat exchanger. So these are the various bio-inspired and efficient design of the heat exchangers. If we talk automotive sector, so US has invested large in advanced additive manufacturing. And additive manufacturing product value, which is forecasted for 2030. So small series, variable turbo, and we can do the customization and finally rapidly produce it. So we can say it is used for the small spare parts, small series, customization, tooling, design cycles, and quality enhancement. These are the various activities in case of automotive. If we talk about industrial tooling, here we can use the mold, we can prepare for the casting, binder jetting operation, like you can see sand mold and metal part cast. Saves up to 75% in sand casting cost. Yes. If you use additive manufacturing this way, we can save. These are the various other components: wax, metal, and ceramic shell, carbon fiber. And this is the FDM printed mold from the FDM machine. So these are industrial tooling components. If you see the electronics antenna, radio frequency antenna, so here number of components are more, and we are using brazing and EDM process. 3D laser fusion can be used. Here we can have 95% reduction, 20% reduction of production cost, and 75% of non-recurring cost eliminated. So these are the benefits if you use application of additive manufacturing in antenna preparation. Now artistic shapes. Extrusion printer is used. So we can produce the artistic objects, and that can be adaptive for manufacturing. Now culinary printing, 3D printed chocolate, see, chocolate 3D printed sugar cubes, pixelated sushi. So this printing, culinary printing is also possible with this. Now resources, additive manufacturing information resources, from where we get manufacturers, 3D printing industry, 3D natives, websites, additive news, today. And these are info. We can have some info from the conferences also. These are the news item, the conference also, AM, and we can get the various development information resources. These are the references which I used for this PPT material. Some of materials I have taken from the papers which are Journal of Materials Engineering and Performance, authored by Zhang et al. Few from the effect of another material science and engineering, Shim et al. And V et al. For this CIRP annals. These are all standard SCI journals and which are used. Additive manufacturing, one another journal. Then physics procedure and Journal of Manufacturing Systems, JMS. We also see power ultrasonics, because ultrasonic additive manufacturing development. Then critical review powder-based additive manufacturing. This is journal paper published materials and design. And Shyam Singh, this is additive manufacturing, another paper from this journal. And this is another International of Machine Tool and Manufacture, Choi et al. So these are the 10 papers which are consulted in preparation of this PPT. Yes, now I open to questions. We have completed our discussions on advancement of additive manufacturing. Friends, these are the true advances. Research is going on in the industry and the academics, and people are working to get more better machining systems which are defect free and more user friendly. With these words, I hand over to Alok ji. Alok ji. Am I audible, Alok ji?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah. So I have given number of advances in different methods and new methods, and these are really at the research stage presently used by industry for various purposes.
Hello. If any
Yes.
query related to this session, any
PPT,
person?
Alok ji, I will share PPT with you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And you can give to the participants because PPT is important. They can refer later also whenever they need.
Okay, okay, sir. If any query regarding this class, any question?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, my name is Varaprasad from
Sir,
Nellore,
can you
Andhra Pradesh.
on your video?
No, sir. No, sir. I can speak.
Okay.
Actually, I'm new to this topic. Just I learning from you.
Yeah.
I actually belongs to this electronics and communication engineering branch.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, sir?
You are in faculty or in industry?
Yes, sir. In faculty.
Okay.
Lecturers. Lecturer in Polytechnic, sir.
Which polytechnic?
Government Polytechnic, Atmagur, sir. Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh, right.
Yes, sir. So my doubt is actually, can we use these things in manufacturing ICs also? Integrated circuits, which are generally used in electronic circuits.
3D printing is mostly used in electronics or like PCB, ICs.
Yes, sir.
These things are already well adapted by the industries for production of these. Because that's why we call it 3D printing, because it is similar to the product coming from the, like we print a paper in a printer. Similarly, we can print the PCBs or the ICs, different components like this. So that is already used. You are right. We can use it.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes.
This is Sachin Deshmukh from MIT World Peace University. I wanted to ask you one question. Shall I ask?
Please speak out.
You have said in some application there is a lattice structure, right?
Yeah.
While printing this lattice structure, you have to do some CAD modeling, right? So
Yes.
which are the sources more suitable for the CAD modeling of this lattice structure?
See, number of softwares are there, and software are not new. These are CAD/CAM softwares, which are CATIA and maybe Annex and
Okay.
ProEngineer. Different softwares are there, and but they see generally the applications are person who is well appraised, well familiar with the software. They can do this because what's your name, please? I forgot.
Sachin.
Yeah. See, I tell you, we people are using, all of us are using the Microsoft Office. and we use the Word and Excel and PowerPoint. But number of tools which are available in Word and Excel, we have not explored all the methods, all the tools, all the techniques. So we are using it only partly. But number of good applications are there. Similarly, these CAD/CAM softwares having these facilities that we can design microstructure and design the job with FE analysis, FEM method, and we can perform this whatever you are seeing.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. One more question. You have just in the medical application, you have said the orthopedic cast. So could you elaborate that?
See, this orthopedics number of research is going on, and in our NIT Jaipur, number of faculty as well as students are working on this. They are preparing the arm, limb, upper arm, upper limb, and lower limb, and Jaipur foot. You know, Jaipur foot is very popular, and all these food they produce with the 3D printing, additive manufacturing. So this is really very important application and used by the number of companies which are producing the orthopedic related components, organs. So this is very useful. You can see the
Okay.
more detail
Right,
on
sir.
Jaipur
Right,
foot.
sir. But you are using this by FDM or any other printing method?
FDM is more mostly used RP method, because FDM is simple as well as I told, a very simple example, that fact that we purchased FDM in 1997 that cost 80 lakhs of rupees, and now FDM is available, a reasonably good FDM is available in 1 lakh or 80,000 rupees only. That is not very accurate, but we can produce the, we can learn the 3D printing with that. If you go for accuracy, it may be double that, but still very, very less, far less than 80 lakhs, which we purchased in 1997. So that is the advancement in technology. Due to advancements, the cost came down, and application is increased of 3D printing. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any other query, please? You are free to speak. And
Any other query related to this session of 3D printing?
Sir, as I asked you, no, sir, IC manufacturing, is there any advancement in that, any manufacturing techniques? Can you throw some light on that?
so many advancements are there, and I'm really tell you one of the session which will be taken by Madam Sanchita Ghosh. I don't know it is tomorrow and when. You can ask to Alokji, and you might have the schedule with you. She is working on this advanced practical applications of this.
Sir,
And she
is cancel your this appointment.
Is it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
She's
Some
not.
some personal work आपको. Some miss happening.
Okay, no problem. But I tell you, one more other experts are there. They
Yes,
will
sir.
share more practical
Amit Singh.
aspects.
Dr. Amit Singh.
Yeah, they are used for the these medical purposes of this 3D printing. So that you can see they are the real people who are using. Maybe the Madam Ghosh is due to some reason she is not able to deliver the talk, maybe, but she is really working. I have seen her facility in the their institute. I visited that because I was the ND expert in that college, and I saw that what they are doing. So people are doing a large and very minute nano level research on these things, and they are getting developed all these things. See, we have to go in depth to learn more and more. Okay. Yes. Any other
Okay,
query?
sir. Thank you, sir.
Alokji, if no query,
Yes.
we can leave.
Okay, sir. Okay. Any other query? Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you then. See you sometime. Thanks for patience hearing. Thank you. Thank you, Alokji.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next session will on 3 p.m. Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. This is the Professor G.S. Dangayat sir from MNIT Jaipur. Our next session will 3 p.m. with Dr. Pawan Kumar Rakesh from NIT Uttarakhand. Okay, thank you.